Hello.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks so much for doing this. Try to keep this like under an hour, make sure I go through everything pretty quick. Everybody, I'm sure, already knows who you are, but for
Yeah.
those who don't know, we can start out by asking, who are you and what's your role in the table tennis community?
I'm the beast from Table Tennis Daily, Louis Price. I'm 20 years old. I train full time in Germany. And yeah,
Yeah, everybody knows you. No big question there. My name's Nathan Britt. For those of you who don't know, I'm just a guy who plays in Atlanta, and I'm trying to make table tennis grow in the United States. So we can start out. I can ask you, what kind of first drew you to table tennis? Was there a specific moment in your life when you knew that table tennis was more than just a hobby for you? When you thought that maybe I have a chance to take this seriously? What was that moment for you?
I started playing when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I would say. And it was actually snowing one winter, and my father used to play in the local club. He's an amateur player, but he loves the sport. He invited me to play, and I started playing because I used to play football. And then, yeah, it just kind of grew from that. I loved it. I started seeing my dad playing in the local league in Bristol in my city. And yeah, it just grew from that. And then I met Dan, the founder from Table Tennis Daily, lived in my city. He was my first coach. And then from Dan and Tom, it went up and up and up. And then I started playing with them. And then, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I kind of had a similar situation. I just randomly in the same city is a former U.S. Olympian. And then same thing, she taught me how to play, and I've just been doing things ever since. So it's kind of crazy what happens when you just meet somebody. In 2024, you made your top tier Bundesliga debut. How did you prepare mentally for that moment when you knew that you were about to break into another level? Did you deal with any kind of imposter syndrome, fear of failing? Knowing that you're going from here to the next level up, and you're on a big stage, everybody's watching you. How do you prepare for something like that?
Well, the truth is you could never be truly 100% prepared. As much as people can say, of course, it's everything I was dreaming since I was a kid, playing Bundesliga. I play in the third tier here in Germany, so it's quite a big step up to go into the team. I would say I definitely visualized the night before, because when I've never played against so many people. There was, I would say, 600 people in the hall. It was really loud. It was an amazing experience. It was a home match, so they were all supporting you. Every point you win, the guys are going crazy, and it was just such a good experience.
And you guys won, right?
Yeah, we won the match.
Yeah, that's sick. That's so sick. Over your training and your career, is there any moments that you wish you had done differently? Like if you look back at the little beast back in with the beginning of TTD, what are the things you wish you had done differently knowing what you know now?
To be honest, when I was really young, I mean, there's always regrets, but I wouldn't say when I was really, really young, I was that focused on table tennis. I was more in the belief. I never believed I would come to this level. And if I would go again, I would. Now I know in my head, in my mindset, that I want to be a champion now. I have it in my mind. But if I would have had that mindset from 8 years old, then...
Was there ever a time during those moments when you wanted to quit? Table tennis is not it. It's not hitting anymore. You want to put it away?
To be honest, I remember there was one day when I was about 14, and I thought, when you're 14, you're just going through puberty, girls and other things. Because at the time, I wasn't professional. I was still going to school. I had many other things. And I saw my mates having fun, going partying and all the other things. I definitely wanted to join it. Yeah, but in the end, I took the decision to not go down that route, and it definitely paid off. There was definitely times where I was thinking that maybe I should quit, but obviously the Table Tennis Daily stuff and really helped me stay in the sport.
Yeah, definitely. So it wasn't so much that table tennis was so hard or that the experience was tough. It was more that you felt like you were missing out in other places.
Yeah, sometimes I wanted to be a normal kid.
I think a lot of people have the opposite, where they think that, table tennis is really difficult and, they can't handle, they lose, they feel like they're not improving, and they kind of lose the spark for it, It's good to hear that you didn't have that. You just had fear of missing out, which I think is completely valid. I think anybody who puts a lot of time into things has to understand that sacrifice. Moving on from that, I want to try to talk about, what do you think about where table tennis is globally and what the average player or enthusiast or just table tennis lover needs to be doing to help grow the sport?
So first of all, now in today's day and age, TikTok and Instagram is massive. I would really recommend people just even amateur, throw in your crazy shots. When I was back in the day growing my Instagram, even if 20 people saw it, it's still 20 people. Like, imagine if we do this interview now. If only 10 people watch it, I would be happy because maybe we've inspired 10 people. And it doesn't matter how big you are, post what you enjoy doing and just, I don't know, man. It's just good to try to get the exposure out there. Like, I recently just started throwing on content on TikTok. I don't know. I get loads of messages and it's amazing.
That's exactly kind of what I'm trying to do is, I think there's such a barrier for people with table tennis because it is a difficult sport. And so, they don't really have much visibility into players like me who started as an adult. I never picked up a racket before I was 21 and just learned to play every day. I think they don't see that you actually can improve. So I think that's kind of a put off for people. It's really good to have your perspective that even though it is so difficult, we do need to keep posting about it. And we need to show people that, it's tough, but it's so fun. And there are so many valuable things that come from it. And I think that as long as we keep that kind of thinking, we can grow the sport better. That's why I'm trying to do this interview now.
What you're doing is really good for the sport.
What do you think? If table tennis was to go mainstream, if there was one big event that brought us into the light, what do you think that event would look like?
I was speaking with someone about this the other day, and I think what you guys are doing in the US with MLTT is really impressive.
Yeah.
I really think this could grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger if people are still getting interested. I guess they have the new season this year.
Yeah.
Or they have the draft picks.
Yeah, we got one of your guys. Pittsburgh came over here.
Yeah, I know. I really see good potential in that. Maybe in the next years, if they keep doing it, maybe it could get on TV. And then once it gets on TV...
you haven't heard. We actually just got on CBS.
Really?
MLTT just got signed this week to CBS.
That's world class.
I know in the United States, we have the viewers here. We have the money here. If you look at our other sports like basketball, we're pumping out tons of money into basketball. So I think if we could just find a way to tap that somewhere here in the US, and I think MLTT is the first chance we've really had at that. I've got a friend who's actually very good friends with the guy who owns it. Shout out Jermaine. He's telling me that, the main focus they're trying to do right now is just to keep growing and growing and growing. They're not really trying to make a lot of money right off the top end. They're just trying to get it bigger. And I think that's exactly what we need. It has to, the sport needs growth first, and then we can worry about, money and all that. In your opinion, what are the biggest barriers that you think are preventing table tennis from becoming in the world stage?
I would say one of the biggest barriers is, to be honest, the idea of table tennis. Because people think of table or ping pong like this outdoor kind of sport where you play for fun. A lot of people, even back home, before I came, they didn't know that someone like Marlon exists or a Timo Ball or they've never even seen table tennis, like people playing crazy rallies. They think that table tennis is just like, this is so easy, anyone could play, and they group it on the same category as darts, snooker, pop sport, and they don't realize that it's really, really a difficult sport when it's high level. I would say another problem is that it's not so, I don't want to speak bad on some companies, maybe I cannot say too much about, but maybe there needs to be better marketing in the sport that could push the sport to new barriers.
I think that, certain parts of the table tennis community haven't really focused as much on how to grow the sport. For you, it's probably even better, but for us, most of the time you'll never see a table tennis table unless it's in someone's basement here in the States. You won't see it. I never even saw a table in my life until I was 21. And that just because they had one in a little room in the college I went to. And I remember I walked in and, they were complete amateur players in there 100%, but they had been playing for a little while. And I remember thinking these guys are amazing. The ball's spinning so much. And now I look back and they were such amateur players. But I remember my first exposure, it took 21 years for me to even see it. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. I really believe as soon as people see, I don't know, on their For You pages, or if they really see table tennis, then they start to play it just for fun, or they start to realize, this is actually cool. They just think of it as a hobby sport. For example, a lot of my friends just started playing in a local club just because they saw me playing, and they said they never saw one person hitting. How's it possible that you can hit?
Exactly.
And this, even when I was 12, even when you're not professional, they just love it. Once they realize what table tennis is, people love it, but they just don't understand what it is.
And I think that's so true. But I think also we need to do, as the people marketing, we need to do a good job of preparing people that it's very difficult. Because I think that, if they see us, walking in and we're hitting, 50 shots in a row, super hard, a lot of spin, they don't see the years of time time, or maybe the very professional training that we went through to get that, and they try to go in, replicate the same thing and get discouraged because, they want to do it and they feel like they can't. And so I think when we are marketing it, we need to be like explaining to people that, it's feasible, but also you need to be prepared that the learning curve is steep. This is a sport for people who are very dedicated, want to improve, love to learn difficult things. It's not a sport where, you go in maybe like bowling and you just kind of, sit around and talk and drink and hang out. Because, it's like what you're saying, people have that perception of table tennis. It's not professional. It's not serious. It's easy.
I think that also first, I think everyone should look at what professional table tennis is. If you want to be like, I'll bring up my father who goes to play league matches in Bristol. Maybe he'll have a beer after the matches with his friends. That's good. But he also has played. He loves it. He's promoting the sport. That's also really good. I don't think everyone has to be a professional player. Being around and enjoying the sport, because it's almost like everyone who actually commits to it and starts playing falls in love with this sport.
That brings me to like table tennis and social media. What inspired you and Dan and you guys to be kind of the first people to be the ones that are like, okay, yeah, we're not pros, we're not out here like making a lot of money, but we love table tennis and we want to post it. We want to show people. You guys were kind of the first to ever do that. And what do you think got you in that headspace?
I would say Table Tennis Daily was much before my time. Even when I was 8 years old, Dan was grinding, putting out Instagram videos, putting out everything. So I definitely cannot credit Dan's and Tom's Table Tennis Daily success to me personally, but I would say I know from them that they were I know Dan used to play, he was playing professional in France actually, and he got injured and he couldn't play for 2 years. He had surgeries, and then he was just finding ways. He just loved the sport. He was just going into the hall and recording the players practice. Time by time, he started grinding. Table Tennis Daily didn't become to this size just overnight. It's been a real grasp what they've been doing. And then 5, 6, 7, I don't remember exactly how long, Table Tennis Daily team started.
Yeah, and I remember that. Because that was when I was coming into the sport, is when table tennis, the TTD team actually really started. That was crazy. How do you think social media is changing the way that recreational and professional players approach table tennis?
I would say definitely with to be honest, the Instagram reels. Before you had to follow people, but now it just gets thrown into your recommended, and that definitely helps. Maybe us a little less because we're more YouTube based, still on the trending if you get lucky. But for the people like Bob Bros or the Pongfinity's massive now.
So what advice would you give to somebody who's looking to start their own table tennis content journey at whatever level? What advice would you give?
My advice would be just to stick to it. Honestly, if it doesn't go massive in a few months, don't stress. Like, you have to grind. It takes a long time. Like, success doesn't come overnight. You have to work, grind, put good quality content out almost daily, and just stick to it. That's the most important thing. And just believe in yourself. Don't give up, man. Just don't give up.
So switching gears a little bit, how do you see AI, data analytics, and things like that shaping the way that content creation is created, but also how the sport is played? I know seeing the professionals, they always have these new tech things, the tables lighting up in different places. They have analytics on them all the time. What do you think that's going to do for the sport?
I would say the way we train table tennis, AI can be the future. I actually work with a company called Fastpong, and as you said, it's the lighting up. You can do multi-ball or robots, and a blue light lights up wherever you want to hit. So you can look before you hit, and then you hit it in the desired place, and that's really good for placement. You can also do multi-ball on it. Let's say the coach has an app, and he can set, I want to put one ball in the backhand, one ball in the forehand. You can see your target accuracy. You can see everything. Crazy. Also in my club here in Grunwettersbach, we have one system where you can serve and it tells you the amount spin on the serve, where exactly it hit on the table.
And I think that as this develops, like as they continue to develop these technologies, these things are only going to get more and more and more insightful. My thinking is that eventually it's going to start coaching you, eventually it will start getting data on you and starting to say, okay, you always miss the ball when it goes here with this much spin. You always miss the ball when it goes here. At a certain point, AI will be able to coach you. And I think that's really not that far away. I mean, it obviously depends because, there's not too many developers with AI that love table tennis. But at a certain point, it's not going to be the coach programming. The AI is going to know, where you need to work.
Also with Spin Sight, have you heard of Spin Sight?
No.
It's software where the camera, you hit the ball, and the camera knows again how exactly how powerful it is, where it hit, and is really, really good.
It's only going to get crazier over time.
But even for AI with anything, with if I have a match that I want to edit, the AI can do it automatically. Like when I'm picking up the balls, I only have the clean points. Really, for everything table, I think the whole world, but specifically in table tennis is only the future knows what it could become.
Definitely. We can talk a little bit more. I know that my viewers specifically are definitely going to want to hear some of your TTD stories. You know, they're going to want to hear, you know, we'll start with, what has your experience been like playing with TTD, just in general?
It's been so good. It's like Table Tennis Daily, you guys only see maybe the raw content on YouTube, but outside, we have so much banter. We enjoy each other. It's like a whole family, the TTD team. They help me. Whatever you can think in my table tennis journey, I wouldn't be the same player I am without the Table Tennis Daily.
And I think that really shows through in the content. You know, we can see that you guys are really tight. It's not fake, you know, it's not for the views. How do you think specifically the team has helped you improve on the table?
I would say just table tennis wise with the trainings, because we have connections to places. If I want to go to practice wherever, they can sort it out.
Okay, yeah. And so you get a lot more access. And also I want to ask you, how does it play into your mental game, knowing how many people are behind that camera watching you? Does it affect you? Do you think it's helped you grow as a player? Do you think it's hurt your mental game? You know, because for me, just me personally, people ask me that all the time because, you know, I'm always recording all my trainings and my matches. They're like, you know, why are you recording yourself playing a match? Doesn't that add more pressure knowing that you're going to post it? You know, aren't you worried people are going to see? And my answer is always no, because it doesn't matter. I just want people to see table tennis. You know what I mean? But I'm curious, because you're on a much bigger scale than I am, how that affects you.
I would say when I was younger, there was a lot more pressure knowing that there could be maybe 1 million people could see the video and to play well, to perform. But at the end of the day, normally when it's on Table Tennis Daily, it's not the World Championships. It's more for people's enjoyment. A lot of the time, I'm not in the same headspace as I would be in maybe a league match. But however, I still want to perform. I still want to do good. But now I'm much more used to it. After you do it 100 times, I mean, it's just natural. You just don't really even think about it. It's really competitive, like the knockout. We all really, really want to win.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not fake or anything. Like there's many people we can get angry.
It's high stakes for sure, high pressure.
Yeah, 100%. The bragging rights.
What's your best memory from Table Tennis Daily that might not be mainstream? Like what? Like not on a big video, you know, not 1 million views. Something that maybe people don't see.
So many behind the scenes. I would say definitely the trips we go on are always funny. I would say the first time we went to India to film with Ashanta and the Indian team, we went to Bangalore in India, and just the whole trip was just mental. There was so many crazy things, so many things we saw. I don't know. After the thing, we went to a meal with the Indian team in Ashanta. We went down one crazy road and we went to the best restaurant I've ever been to. Just the traveling with them is so much fun. Going to wherever and just traveling, going through all the drama is just hilarious.
Honestly, I think that's what the people want to see the most is, you know, the way that you guys interact off the table, you know, like when you guys are traveling. I know everybody loves when you guys are in the locker room and you do your, you know, your pep talks. You know, it's like these moments where it's not about table tennis, it's more about the group. I think these are the moments that, I think that's part of the reason why Table Tennis Daily is so successful, is because it's so genuine.
Yeah, that's the exact thing. It's really how we're thinking. Like if there wasn't a camera, we'd do the same thing. We actually would. Yeah, I think that's the reason why a lot of people resonate with Table Tennis Daily, is that we're not pros, and it's more relatable to us than when you see Timo Boll playing in the World Championships. It's more real. It's more like what you'd feel in a tournament. It's more, I don't know, relatable.
Definitely. And I think that's great. And I think more people kind of need to get out of their comfort zone a little bit, because I know, you know, if you go into any club, you'll find groups of people who just love table tennis, you know, but the effort that you guys took to put that out and help grow the community, I think is really what the sport would benefit the most from. How do you think table tennis has impacted your life outside of the sport? How has it changed the way that you act, the way that you think? Has it improved the way that your health, just the sport, you know, and your mental health? How do you think that table tennis affects you?
I would say mentally, it's really helped me table tennis in the fact of just positive thinking and what the mind can do. In the last couple of months, I've been really getting into psychology and the way the brain works. I've been reading a lot of books, and that's helped my table tennis massively. Like, I went up a few steps in table tennis just by the way I think. And in business, I think you've seen I've been a lot more consistent now on Instagram, and I've really grinding at the moment.
So what kinds of things have you been learning that have been prompting you? So what did you used to think like versus now?
I would say for me, the main thing that's helped me mentally is so much positive self-talk, because everything I say to myself reflects on the outside. If I wake up in a bad mood and then I go to the practice in a bad mood, then I'll have a bad mood. If I don't love myself doing it, then it spreads to other people. The energy is just spreads to other people, and I think that's really important. Just always trying to see the positive in everything, because it helps me. Then I'm more inclined to do work. It's such a roll-on effect in how you think. If something bad happens, I really try to always not think on the bad and go to the next. Table tennis wise, I would say for me, visualization and meditation is really, really important. I visualize every day. If I have a match or if I don't have a match, I visualize every night what's going to happen in the match. If I have a match, for example, what I'm going to do. Obviously, I study the player before. Then I really try to imagine what it will be like in the match, or visualizing the practice, or even before you set off to sleep. I'm just thinking, okay, I'm going to do 3 points forehand. I'm going to try to be relaxed, slow, don't be angry, relaxed, and that's really important to me. And also just in the practice, not if I miss a bad shot, not complaining. Okay, next one. That's really important, but not just table tennis, just in life.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't heard many people talk about visualization and meditation when it comes to table tennis. How does meditation come into play here?
I would say just learning how to meditate actually took me a long time. It's not just sitting down and think. It's really how you control your breath, what you think about, really, really helps me. And also meditation as in learning how to breathe is also, because in matches when you're stressed, it's all about how you breathe and what you think in the moment, because the moment really dictates what will happen in the point. I know if I think positively that I would win that point, but every time you have this negative thought, it messes with your brain. For example, many amateur players might have thought like, oh, you go 2-0 up and you think, oh, I could win this.
Yeah.
And then eventually you lose the match. Just get control of things like that. Okay, 1 point at a time, breathing, not rushing into it is so important. I would say also, I started to do journaling a lot, and that really helped me. Writing down, today my practice was good. Really, for me, journaling really helped me. To be honest, at first, when I first started doing it, maybe a couple months ago, it was a bit of a pain. All right, is it really going to work? But little do you know, it does work. You really feel more positive. Really, I could show some things that I wrote 3 months ago. Somehow happen now just from visualization and writing it down. It seems crazy, but really what you write down, even non-table tennis, I'm writing down if I have a problem. I just feel so much more relaxed.
Okay, well, you definitely just talked me into starting all of that. I'm definitely going to start doing that after today. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but what's a major misconception about table tennis that you wish more people understood?
Biggest misconception, I would say that it's just about table tennis, not that people don't realize that it's a professional sport. It is and everyone speaks about it, that they just think that it's a joke, like nobody takes it serious. Kind of gets under my skin a little, I have to be honest.
I know, I see you standing up straight.
When they go, it's not a real sport, it shouldn't be in the Olympics. And they've never played the sport, they've never seen it. And I don't know, it definitely is something that gets under my skin.
And that's one thing, like at my club, because I'm always coaching, every 4 years, I've been playing about 8 years now. So this has happened twice now, where every time the Olympics hits, we get this big rush of people that come in and they start to play because they saw it on the TV and they want to try it out. And the first thing they always say is, I had no idea it was so serious. I had no idea that people were so good. Like, I had no idea. Or the same thing when I tell people, like, I have a table tennis channel, I coach at a club. They're like, what do you mean you coach? I'm like, I coach. They're like, why would you coach? What do you mean coach? And then they're like, are there competitions? Like, how can you not know this?
I think in English speaking countries is a lot less audience. For example, now after the Olympics in France, table tennis has gone massive with the LeBron
Definitely.
brothers. Like, I was playing ETTU Cup. We have European Cup the second stage a couple months ago, and even you can speak to the taxi driver. He knows of the LeBrons. In Sweden now, true non-table tennis people know him. I think if we had one American who could influence the sport like that, that's when it would grow massive.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we saw the same thing with Calderano and Rio in 2016, because I remember, he lost 3-0 to Jusei Hyuk, but every single point he won, that entire stadium was going crazy. And then ever since then, table tennis in Brazil has been growing so much. I think Calderano actually has the most followers of almost anybody,
he gained
right?
so many from the Olympics.
And I think Kanak is doing so good. He's starting now to try to get a social media following. He's just now recently in the last couple months been posting really heavily his experiences in the league and stuff like that. He plays over there with you guys, so I'm sure you see him often. My hope is that this will change in LA 2028. My hope is that in LA, Ja will play, Lily will play, and the United States will finally get fired up about table tennis when they see, two people from the US in there,
I did see that the basketball players in Paris were actually watching the table tennis.
So 3 of our women made it to the Olympics, but only 1 of our men made it. So basically the group of our 3 women was Sally, Amy, and Lily, and they were out at the opening ceremony or something, and they just happened to be standing next to the basketball team. So like they look over there and they're like, oh, that's Steph Curry. They're like, that's Steph Curry. I think that's LeBron. And so they look over and they like kind of go over them and they're like, hey, we're from the US too. And then because they talked at that first opening ceremony, I don't remember which one it was, but one of them was like, okay, what, you guys play table tennis, bet I'm going to show up. And then they did. Lily was playing in the quarterfinals, and you look out in the stands and there's like 3 professional basketball players out there watching her.
I mean, even small things that you have a few more of them and then something will click.
Yeah, for sure.
It's only a matter of time before the sport explodes.
Do you have any final words? What's your advice to the average table tennis player looking to go out, pick up a racket and try it out?
I would say just join the club, even if it's socially, and just go and have fun, first of all. Don't pick up a racket for the first time and think, oh, right, I'm going pro. Pick a few friends, go out, play, see if you enjoy it. If not, sign up to a club. Just stay in the sport. Even if it's for health, whatever reasons, just try to stay in the sport. Because I promise you, as soon as you start playing, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you. All right. Thanks, Louis. I want to give you this last little moment. If you have anything coming up, so I have a little bit of pull here in the US, not as much as you, but I want to give you a chance to showcase, what you're working on right now, plug yourself.
At the moment, obviously, Instagram, TikTok is TTD Beast. I'm also going to start doing a YouTube channel where I post my German league matches. And 2025 is going to be a big year for me. I'm going to grind and I'm going to start posting daily reels. I'm going to do big things this year.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that, man. Well, everybody watching, you guys make sure you go follow Louis Price, TTD Beast. He's on everything. He's got 1,000 videos out. Y'all go watch all of them. Thanks so much. And thank you so much, Louis, for your time. I really appreciate it. If you're passionate about growing table tennis in the United States like I am, the most important thing that you can do to help is follow me and repost this video. The bigger that this channel gets, the more that I'll be able to go into US communities, introduce new people to the sport, and work with large table tennis brands here in the United States to bring real change to the sport that we love. My short-term goals are to achieve a USATT rating of 2,000 as a player, to expand this channel, and to start direct outreach with both table tennis companies here in the United States and with local school districts here in Atlanta. Long-term, I want to make this my full-time mission, coaching, creating content, and getting table tennis into more schools and communities here in the United States. My life goal is to be one of the best table tennis coaches here in the US and to embed table tennis into our everyday lives here. If you want to support this journey and take your own table tennis to the next level, I'm officially launching my table tennis memberships on YouTube. In level 1, you're going to gain access to our exclusive community Discord, as well as access to all of the edited content from Amy and I's coaching sessions with our other members. You'll be able to see and communicate with our members in real time as they're improving their level, recording their progress, and gaining professional insights along the way from Coach Amy and I. Access to professional coaching and weak social media exposure have been huge barriers to the sport's growth here in the US. In level 2, you'll be getting professionally edited and personalized online coaching from me, or professional edits of your own table tennis content, personalized for you and your channels. I want to do my part to share the professional techniques that I have learned to help me develop my game as an adult, as well as the professional editing skills that I've been developing over the last 3 years to encourage others to post their own content and grow the sport in their own online communities. For those who are serious about pushing their game to its absolute limit, in Level 3, we're offering personalized and professionally edited online coaching from Amy Feng, a U.S. Olympian, former Chinese national team member, and former world number 26. An expert in Chinese technique, footwork, and strategies, Amy is uniquely qualified to help you push your game to the highest possible level and grow the overall table tennis IQ here in the United States. No matter what level you choose, your support helps me grow table tennis in the United States. So make sure you join, subscribe, share this video, and let's make this sport bigger than ever. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.